Well, hello everyone. I'm just 1 minute earlier, but I want to tell you sorry for the technical problems that I had earlier. I've worked those out, and you get an extra bonus. You have an entire show that we're going to start completely back over. And we're just going to say hello and welcome to my channel, From Hell to Higher Ground. Please follow me on YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, Trans Life, and I'm at Transgender Life and Trans Woman Support Group. Please subscribe, always share, and hit likes. We're going to continue our conversation. This is episode 3. What's more dangerous, a high heel shoe or an assault rifle? And we're going to talk about the activism going on across the country. Last week, we ended off talking about all the anti-trans legislation sweeping across the country, bills being passed left and right, aimed to marginalize the trans community. In response to those efforts, I want to applaud the community members of Florida who participated in a historic march, a drag queen march to Tallahassee, to the state capitol. This march was to protest bills aimed at drag shows, and I totally understand. There was very little coverage, other than social media. I ran across a post from Sunny Delight, Miss Continental, who is doing an absolute wonderful job, by the way. And also, she attended and learned that a very good friend of mine, Darcel Stevens, was leading the march. I've known Darcel for years. We are national sisters from years ago. Also, she is well loved through the state of uh, Florida and loved across the country. And it's like she is a part of my pathway, my pathway from years ago that got me to where I am right now. And we were supposed to schedule a interview, and I was gonna hope to be able to play this on the show, but somehow again we're having these technical problems. So hopefully we're gonna bring her on next week, and we're gonna talk about some of the things that went on, putting the march together, and where they plan, what's the next step of what they're going to do with the with that protest. And it just takes me back knowing all these people who are still working today. She did the same thing for my life years ago. I was very young, and she was my big sister, and still being a big sister to the country. Also, now, while they were marching inside the state capitol in Tallahassee, the Florida Legislation House passed 2 bills. One bill, the first bill, is the bathroom bill. It prevents transgender people from using the bathroom that doesn't match their sex. I mean, what the hell? Are there going to be bathroom monitors now before you go in? The next bill passed was for gender affirming for minors. I mean, this is a bill that has been passed all around the country, copied and pasted. And I actually have a copy of the bill that I want to read to you. This bill would ban transgender minors from receiving gender affirming care in the form of puberty blockers, cross sex hormones, surgical procedures, and any medical profession who provides such care would lose their medical license for at least 1 year. Those same treatments, however, would not be banned for non transgender minors. I mean, my goodness, this is the same bill that was just passed. I mean, it's the same bill that was just passed in Michigan for minors and adults. It's been copied and pasted all over the country. The same bill that Representative Zoe Zefford was censored and expelled off the floor for saying to the Montana House of Legislation that they were going to have blood on their hands if they passed this law. And I guess she hurt their little feelings. And she can no longer speak or vote on any legislation in the Montana House until she apologizes. That's ridiculous. That's why we have to vote and get the right people in there so we have somebody to support those that are in there. And all this stuff going on around the country, especially with gender affirming, and I put myself in some of these kids, how they must feel, and I went back and I wrote something in my book about that in my early childhood. And I actually wrote, growing up to a Black Christian family in the South decades ago was really hard. I mean, really hard. But I knew I was different. I thought of myself as a confused little boy or whatever that meant. I prayed that things would get better. And one day I will get out of this pain. This was a time when your choice was either lesbian, gay, or transvestite. And I didn't want to be a transvestite. But there was just nothing there for me. But over the years, there has been an advancement in our society, thank God, and the medical research has allowed us to understand the social identity of those beyond those three categories. It's the reason why I am a trans woman today through education. We have advanced over the years. And through my experience and all this stuff passing with these healthcare bills that are being passed, it's going to take us back to the margins of society, a place where we can't discover who we are or, and live authentically. And that is not right at all. But they are passing legislation against the trans community every day. And I know it was hard when I was a kid growing up. And when you take away this health care and rights, that's even harder, a harder pathway for you to follow. But believe me, you can do it. It's just going to take work. It took me work to get where I am today. And I thank God for that. I mean, they're passing all this legislation every day. But right now, there is a manhunt for a young man in Texas that killed 5 of his neighbors. And one of those 5 was a little 9-year-old boy named Daniel. For no reason, because they asked him if he would stop shooting his his assault rifle in the front yard. And I'm for sure it was an AR-15 assault rifle. Because that seems to be the thing that everybody's been, I'll say, using lately to slay and massacre all their neighbors and people in the bank and people at the grocery store and people at schools. I mean, this is ridiculous. But we're going to go on a higher note. I just have to go into this. I want to just give a big a big congratulations to a dear friend of mine. We've known each other since we were little kids. Um, Back in North Carolina, coming from a Christian background, and um, we still know each other today. She is my cousin and dear friend. Uh, she just got nominated for a Tony on Broadway, and we've known each other throughout our lives. And at first, it was difficult because she didn't understand my lifestyle or who I was. And it's all about having those allies um, throughout your years of experience. And that's how they will support you, like Tasha has. She didn't understand at first, but now she understands and it supports me wholeheartedly. And God is so blessing her. And I just applaud her that she just got nominated for a Tony for Best Featured Actress in a Musical. This morning, she was also on with Al Roker, where she did a selection, and I think found out that she got the Oscar. So I applaud you for that. And I'm going to be talking about her in my story. So that's going to be a wonderful story. And then on some of my short stories, if you look on the website, I'm going to take you on some of those adventures with her. Now, I want to also bring this to your attention. Uh, I went to Circle Care and they gave me some more information to update you. If you need help or any assistance throughout the United States or country, you can pull up .outcarehealth.org or .gaycenter.org. And that will help you out in any capacity that you need. Also, they can help you. You put in your address and everything, and they will appoint you to um, to the assistance and the area that will help you for those assistance. So that's another one, and I want to thank Circle Care for doing that for me. Also, I want to give a big thank you to MFAP in Norwalk, to Stuart for his support. They've been wonderful. I thank you so much. And if you need any care, please reach out to MFAP in Norwalk, Connecticut. Oh, and going back also here in Connecticut, if you need some assistance, you can go to ctpridecenter.org and that will give you some assistance. I'm going to say that again. That's .outcarehealth.org and gaycenter.org for help if you need that. Before I take my leave here, because I'm not going to keep you too long, I want to thank Now Applied Imagination Branding and Marketing Agency, who helped me put this together. They've just been there behind me, pushing me. Sometimes it gets rocky. I'm still learning. I thank you, Lee. I thank you, Desmond. I thank you, Ted. I thank you again to Jericho for just believing in me and giving me that push, especially with this computer. We saw what happened earlier. I'm still learning. Also, my therapist that I'm probably going to need after all this, Miss Alejandra Hochstadter, has been a wonderful inspiration in my life. Um, Remember, before I leave, if you have not said hello, you look beautiful, uh, or just smiled at someone today, that can go a long ways. Just to say hello, or you look beautiful, or I like what you're wearing. You don't know what they're going through. So that's why we have to uplift those around us, because when we uplift those around us, they uplift us. So I thank you so much. We're going to continue the conversation next week on this gender affirming and talk about some of the parenting and where we need to, that could probably help some of the parents that are experiencing some of this that can that are going to make that decision. I think we can only just have the discussion about this because it is a discussion right now. But that final decision is up to the parents, not to the lawmakers, but the parents. I want to thank you for coming back and sticking around with me. I hope, like I said, to learn more about this and give you more information. And like I said, I'm going to be starting a short, also videos about my experience with Tasha. Oh, and before I leave, I've got some other information I want to share with you. I'm going to be back on the red carpet in November. I will be on the red carpet for Playing with Dolls. It's a film that was going to be released about the transgender nightlife in the disco era from the 70s until now. So I'm excited about that, and hopefully I'll have some coverage with you about that. And we're going to talk a little bit more about my book. So thank you so much. Thank you for coming back. And like I said, have a beautiful day. Thank you.